Farmers Firearms, everybody. I'm Ivan, and today we're going to do a World War II classic, Colt M1911 versus Nambu Type 14, 45 ACP, 8mm Nambu. This is going to be a lot of a shooting video. I know that people are going to scoff when they see this legend of a pistol and this infamous pistol, but I have a feeling since I have this one running right, let's actually see how they fare in some, a couple different environments. A lot of it's gonna be a little bit redneck what I have set up, but let's see. So come with me and we will shoot Colt 1911 versus Nambu Type 14. Okay guys, so for the first course of fire, it's gonna be empty chamber, loaded magazine with an extra magazine. I only have 2 mags for both these pistols, so these are kind of going to be low hit courses I'm going to be running, but it's going to be pretty long range for a pistol, medium range, and then close range. So let's just get going.
Go.
"31 seconds. So that actually went pretty good with the 1911. I felt really good about my hits. I'm surprised I hit it from over there. I was going to go to another position, but that's okay. So let's just mimic what I just did with the Nambu and let's see what happens. Okay guys, Type 14 Nambu. Let's run this course, 6 hits.
Go.
Reloads are definitely slow on this guy. Okay, 36. So, it's not the fastest run. I definitely had some misses. I am having to hold, trying to kind of find that spot on the right side of the target because it shoots a little left, but not bad, definitely not bad. So let's get to the 1911. Okay, I did those first ones where I racked a slide. I'm just gonna run the safety from here on out.
Go.
Oh boy, fingers are getting cold. Okay, so 27. This thing was cooking. 1911s have good triggers, but the sights, like I mentioned on the Nambu, if you've seen that part yet, are minuscule compared to the Nambu. But not bad, but I also have a lot of experience with these 1911s. So let's do a couple more rounds with it so we can get a little bit of an average. Okay guys, Nambu, once again.
Go.
Oh yeah, you gotta hold right, you gotta remember that. Okay, 27. I'm telling you, as I'm getting warmed up on the Nambu, it seems to be getting it done pretty quick. Okay, 1911.
Go.
There it is. Drop those. Okay. Oh. 36, not horrible, but that trigger is light on 1911. And keep in mind, I am shooting this one-handed because that was period correct for the time. But the 1911's recoil is not horrible, but it does take a little bit of coming in to make your hits. Okay, guys, Nambu time.
Go.
There it is. How many seconds? 28. Okay guys, now I kind of have a redneck pop-up target set up and I want to see snap shooting. These guns are going to be one in the chamber, safety on. The target's going to present itself for about 2 seconds. You're going to put as many rounds as you can into that target towards the kill zone, and let's see how many each gun can get into that target in that 2 seconds. Okay, so let's go look at that target. That's kind of someone jumps up out of a trench and you got to shoot at them real quick. So that's kind of the thought process. So as fast as I could pull the trigger, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I missed 3, but let's see how the 1911 does. I'm sure that we can tell the difference between 45 and 8mm Nambu. But if you had to dump an entire magazine into an enemy, the Nambu would get it done. So I'm actually gonna step over here. Well, actually no, I think the 1911's on my side. Oh yeah, okay. So I'm gonna set this puppy down and let's try it with the 1911. Safety on, and I was about here. Oh, that's kind of an interesting thing, guys. In my hurry, I maybe would have got one more shot off. My safety actually came on, which, even though the Nambu safety is a little squirrely because you have to reach it in a weird place, that's probably not going to happen with the Nambu. I've never actually done that before on a 1911. But let's just look and see what we got on target. Okay, so we got, that's definitely a 45. 1, 2, 3. I mean, he'd still be neutralized. And I know that this is kind of a redneck test, but yes, I accidentally popped that safety there at the end. But even then, it is pretty clear to me that you look at the Nambu, I had a little dispersion here, but I had 3 shots right close to one another. So the 45 is definitely a more powerful cartridge, but as you can see, it's much harder to hit a target multiple times in a close proximity. So I don't know how good of a test that is, but whatever that shows, that's what happened. Okay, so the next part, I know that this is not any kind of FBI standard, but I've been working on my house. It's been cold, and I had some extra lumber, and I just cut up some 3/4 inch plywood, nailed it on, put 4 planks. I have 2 I made. I'm gonna put 1 round of 8mm Nambu into this one, and then 1 round of 45 into the other one. I don't know. Let's just see what happens. Okay guys, so the round entered there. As you can see, it passed through the second one, passed through the third one, passed through the fourth one, and entered the tree. So I'm actually surprised. I've always heard this talk that 8mm Nambu is super weak, but it just went through 4 pretty far spaced pieces of plywood. Let's shoot one with 45 ACP now. Okay, it entered, exited, entered, and exited the third one, and of course, as we all guessed, it made it out the back. So maybe next time I will put maybe 10 of these together and see at what point does these bullets get stopped. Kind of a weird test, but you know, it is what it is. Okay guys, so we just got back from shooting, and this is the final test for both of these pistols today. It's going to be disassembly and then reassembly. I'm going to disassemble them and reassemble them, obviously, under some time, see how long it takes. They're both a little complicated compared to modern handguns of today, but they're not too difficult. So I'm going to start with the 1911. I am not going to try to do this super fast like you might see some people on the internet. I'm just going to do it leisurely. Take it apart, put the parts on the table, put them back inside the gun, and then hit stop. So let's start with the 1911. 3, 2, 1. I might do this a little bit different than you guys, but this is just how I've always done it. Okay, not too bad. Not too bad at all. I just missed that step a little bit. That thing's a little gummy. This is the trickiest part of the 1911, is getting that lug set in the right. With a little finagling, it's not too bad. One minute and 10 seconds. So not too bad. I've had a lot of 1911s, so I've done it quite a bit. But next thing's next. Let's try the Nambu. I've never actually done the Nambu under any kind of time frame. So 1 minute, 10 seconds. I'm going to reset and start. I'm guessing this is going to be the longest part of the disassembly. Okay. Actually, so quite honestly, 1 minute, 8 seconds. So pretty much the same thing. That comes down to just a little fumble here, a little fumble there. So to be honest, to get a Nambu apart and all the way on the ground, or a 1911 apart and all the way on the ground, takes about the same amount of time. So I'm sure plenty of you people have shot 1911s. So the Nambu did edge it out by 2 seconds, so I'm gonna have to give it to the Nambu. But pretty much the same thing. So, one last thing. There has been a subscriber that wants to see a disassembly and cleaning video of this. I'll do a separate one for him. So if you're watching, it's coming. Okay, guys, so in conclusion of Colt 1911 versus Type 14 Nambu, when it came to the run and gun stuff, it was a tie. It was a bit of a toss-up with the same shooter behind them. A lot of times they were within a couple seconds of each other, and even one round we even tied. So with someone who knows the platform good enough, they both seem to shoot adequately. When it comes to the 1911, though, it is no secret that it has superior controls. The safety is really easy to access. The trigger is perfect and light. The slide release is easy to reach, and the magazine release is perfectly placed. So when John Moses Browning came out with this design, he was really ahead of the curve when he put this sucker together. With the Nambu, where it lacks in the safety being ergonomic, it's a kind of a two-handed affair, and when the bolt is the bolt locks back when you're empty, but when you pull out the magazine, it slams forward. That's a little bit of an extra step, but it really isn't that bad. But for all of its failings in that aspect, it is one of the most ergonomic. I know people might scoff, but it is one of the most ergonomic handguns I've ever handled. I've handled a lot of vintage and modern handguns, and something about the Nambu just balances in the hand. Most of your weight is in the back, and when you hold it, you can point it almost indefinitely, and you're not going to get tired. Where with the 1911, it definitely is a little more front heavy. So I will say that where the controls are a little more archaic on the Nambu, they're really not that bad when it comes to practical shooting. As we could see in the video, having to pull out the mag, put it back in a racket, or having to switch the safety with the other hand really isn't a deal breaker when it comes to one of these kinds of fighting handguns. And we also got to think about the guys that these handguns were in World War II. They're pretty much identical in that aspect. Where they're not identical is when you come into the caliber. The 45 ACP is definitely a more hard-hitting cartridge, where the 8 millimeter Nambu is a much lighter cartridge. But with that heavy bullet, we get a little heavier recoil, and when we see with the snap shooting side of things, it was much harder for me to shoot my 1911 in a really quick situation and make good solid hits. Where with the Nambu, I put 3 of them in a space about this big. So quite honestly, for up close and personal shooting, as long as your Nambu's working correctly, I think I would prefer to hit my target more times with a little bit of a lighter cartridge versus maybe, you know, 1 or 2 misses and maybe a clip with the 45. And I have shot 1911s quite a bit, so it wasn't like I was foreign to this platform. Both of these pistols are 20s or 30s produced. This one's been refinished a time or two, but you can see the markings on there. and this one is a 35 produced. So when it comes to build quality, they're identical in my opinion. They're both very nicely made, old world manufacture, and you know, all that considered, the Type 14 Nambu I think can hold itself, hold its own against the 1911 as long as you have the right ammunition through the pistol so that they work correctly. So this is kind of the end of part 1 of this Nambu series that I've been doing versus some of its other counterparts, and I'm actually pretty surprised. I was very happy with how the Nambu operated. For the next time though, it'll be meeting its German counterpart, and there's a lot more similarities between these two pistols, as you guys can see, and I have a feeling that this might be maybe a little bit of a more interesting comparison. So until next time, I've been Ivan, and we will catch you on Forest Firearms. Thank you.